Hi everybody and welcome to Paranormal and History. As you've probably all noticed by now, things are a little different tonight because you've got to listen to my voice instead of Scott's. You'll also notice that I'm female and he's male and I've got hair, he has not.
What's happened to me?
Sorry Scott.
You've got teeth, he's got none.
Well
Really, you had to go there.
the list could go on and on, but we're not going to do that, are we? So tonight's live is something a wee bit different, but I hope you'll find it a wee bit interesting. So art influences every day around us. It can cause loads of thoughts and emotions which run through our brains and often bringing us to laughter and tears. But according to some people, there is artwork in this world that can cause genuinely undesirable effects. And with so many of these tales and real horror stories around about haunted houses, dolls, and other cursed items, the one about famous paintings are particularly interesting or terrifying. And it's hard to say if this is because some paintings are so hideous that they just make people feel miserable, or is it because it's an association with a dark and mysterious artist? Or is it simply because these paintings are genuinely haunted? So, as you probably all gathered, this live tonight is about haunted paintings and objects and exploring these haunted paintings and objects. And with so many different haunted paintings around and objects, it was quite difficult to actually pick a selected few. So I'm just going to do the ones that I found more interesting.
Before you kick off with number one, can you just congratulate Stephen on being the first comment? Well done, my man.
Thanks, Stephen. The first one is called The Hands Resist Me. This is quite a famous painting. It's also known as the eBay haunted picture, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. The Hands Resist Me is a painting that was created by the artist Bill Stoneham in the year 1972. This painting shows a young boy and a female doll standing beside a set of glass doors. The doll itself has hollow eyes, a sad upturned mouth, and is holding a strange sort of device with wires coming from it. The eeriest part of this painting, however, are the many disembodied hands against the glass doors, reaching towards the boy. Even more disturbing, though, than the disembodied hands are the stories of what happened to people who came into contact with the painting. This painting was put on display in the Fairgarten Museum Gallery, in Beverly Hills, California. It was then reviewed by the art critic for the Los Angeles Times, Henry Seldes, and bought by the actor John Marley. He was known as the one who woke up to the horse in The Godfather. This is where things regarding this painting starts to go a wee bit weird. A few years after the painting was sold, the actual art critic died. Then, after the art critic died, the gallery owner died. Then in 1984, John Morley, who had bought the painting, died. The painting then basically disappeared for a few years before resurfacing again in the year 2000 in a bizarre posting on eBay. The new owners were trying to sell it because they thought it was haunted. They claimed that the young boy and the doll in the picture would fight during the night, scaring their 4-year-old daughter. So they set up a camera in the room where the picture was hung and claimed they captured the boy in the painting leaving the frame and coming into the room, and they fled in terror. Many people report to feeling uneasy or ill, or just feeling sad and upset just by looking at the picture. The picture did end up selling to a buyer in Michigan for just over $1,000, and the new owner is keeping the painting in storage and refusing much bigger offers for the actual painting.
Did anybody ever see the footage, the camera footage? It was captured.
Not that I'm aware of.
So the boys meant to have been said to have seen leaving the painting and terrorising
The family
family.
who fled in terror because of what they actually saw.
It is quite creepy, to be fair.
It's very creepy. I think the hands in the glass mirror, the glass doors, sorry, are the most creepiest part of it, to be fair.
Do we know where the wee girl's meant to be holding?
Nobody actually knows. It's just something with wires coming at it.
A bomb.
Possibly, Sarah. Who knows?
I don't know if you're allowed to say that word on a library. The B-O-M-B word.
I know.
I think that the girl's spookier than the boy.
I think it's the fact that it's just her eyes are quite hollow and they've got absolutely no pupils. And they're dark. And she always seems that quite sad in a way.
When you look at that picture, also you can tell it's a doll and it's controlled, well, to me, it's controlled by a spirit. And
Possibly.
she watches it, she controls that wee boy.
It's an interesting perspective there, Scott.
I feel like that very thing, if you need validation, some kind of date and time and date of anything that happened before I can agree to attach them to any doll picture. I want to believe that there are so many. No, you're right, George.
No,
you
I
know,
agree.
everything tells you everything needs to be backed up, validated in some way.
We only have people's words, and that's not enough. But that's why we're exploring this, really.
Everything needs to be. That's right, John. But if you look at it, she's watching him, so I think she's kind of controlling him. Because she's got that kind of you'll do as I say look upon her. That's just my view. I don't know what other folks think in the chat this, but I think she's definitely the dominant one.
Oh no, your opinion, everybody's opinion is valued, regardless of whether we agree or not, George. It's perfectly fine. Love to hear other people's opinions and views on stuff.
That's what some of the lies are about. George just puts her opinion in. As long as everybody's opinion is valued, we've got to be different. Nobody's going to agree 100% of the time. But we believe validation as well with anything, whether it's an object or a photograph, even a recording. If you can get it validated, and that goes a long way. So we wouldn't bite your head off anyway. I don't have any teeth, so I can't bite your head off. That's what happens. Anyway, I'll let you carry on.
The second painting is The Crying Boy, and that's up to Sarah.
Yep. So there was a few variations of this painting. The one that we're talking about in tonight is the one on the left. That's the kind of most famous one, but there is a few, like I said, variations of the picture itself. So, can a painting be haunted by the spirit of a young boy? Can its evil powers cause houses to burn down? Back in the 1980s, a number of British people did, believing that this particular painting, The Crying Boy, was cursed. The Crying Boy was painted by Italian artist Bruno Amadio under the name Giovanni Bragolin. The prints were mass-produced and sold throughout the United Kingdom. On Saturday, the 4th of September 1985, the British tabloid The Sun printed a story about a couple named Ron and Mary Hall, whose house burnt down due to a chip pan fire. The painting of the crying boy, which was hung up in their home, remained untouched. However, all around the painting was charred remains. The very next day, the Sun tabloid ran a follow-up story claiming to have been inundated by calls from terrified readers. Dora Mann explained that her house burned down 6 months after buying the painting. All her paintings were destroyed except from the crying boy. Another person claimed that since she said Since she had bought the painting in 1959, she had lost her 3 sons and her husband. The Sun newspaper offered to take the painting off people's hands, and they received 250, no, 2,500, paintings of the crying boy, which were eventually burnt in a giant bonfire. Rumours about this painting were refused to go away. A story spread that the crying boy was a Spanish street urchin by the name of Don Benilo, whose parents had tragically died in a fire. No one wanted to take the boy in because wherever he stayed, mysterious fires would occur. An artist painted this boy, but then the artist's studio was destroyed by a fire. Years later, an unidentified body was found in the charred remains of a car. The name on the driving license, Don Benello.
So, as you first said there, can a painting be, cursed or whatever? I suppose it's what everything you get, spirits that can attach themselves to objects, I mean, it's an if. I'm not saying it does happen, I'm saying it's an if. If it can attach itself to a person or a doll, then it probably could attach itself to a painting as well. The thing with the house burning down, and I'm trying to look at it from both sides here, everything burning bar the painting. There is a chance that it might sound stupid, but some skeptics might argue that the painting was actually made from fire retardant material.
Definitely.
And that would explain everything else burning except this painting. That's just one explanation that people would probably throw into the pot. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know very much about these haunted paintings. So it's Lauren Sarah's puppy tonight, but that's one thing I would think about if one picture. But in saying that, you see 2,500 were handed in, but they were all burnt.
They were mass burnt by the sun.
Yeah, because people were frightened to have them in their homes after hearing about numerous stories attached to this particular painting. I mean, I certainly wouldn't take a chance, would you?
I don't think I would take a chance just to be on the safe side. No, I believe a painting can be possessed, maybe it can, maybe it can't, who knows. But if there was so many different accounts of this happening all over the country, then aye, as a parent and all that, you'd be kind of dubious of, going out and buying one or having one in your house. You kind of play on the safe side. Kathy says you were talking about this a couple of nights ago. It's a very famous case. I've heard about it quite a few times, but I'll just go by what I've read over the years about it. But it is certainly it's a strange case.
It is, and I think the fact that the wee boy who was supposedly painted, Don Benello, was found in a burnt car is pretty fascinating, to be fair, because obviously the picture of him associated with house fires, and then you find out that he actually died in a fire in a car. That's pretty it's more coincidental than anything, if I can use that word.
That's quite coincidental. And then again, another theory was it the spirit of this wee boy trying to tell people that he's still about, or maybe the wee boy's angry. There's a lot of kind of different theories that it could be.
Trying to actually find facts to back these things up actually proved pretty difficult. So that's right. I did actually look at that, Mandy.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, I looked at that one. It's a picture of a wee girl, if I remember rightly, and she's holding a letter.
Never heard of it. Yeah, but that's just me.
Definitely one that I did have a wee read at. But there was so many to try and go through and to pick. I literally just picked my favourites, and the ones that I found most fascinating, to be fair. It was a really difficult thing to do. There's so many out there that, you know, it is hard. So, I mean, by all means, go and have a look at them, find out more information about them, and if they can find any facts to back up anything, I'd like to see them, because I really struggled to find facts to back up what they were saying about them, about the haunted paintings. It was really just hearsay and what people saw or what they said. It's the only thing I can find. So we'll move on to painting 3, and that is the Anguish Man.
When it pops up.
When it
No,
pops
Sarah's
up.
still there.
Aye, I was going to put the picture up of that wee lassie you were just talking about.
Aye, carry on, Sarah. That'd be great. Please do. Aye,
Here
that's
it's
that.
there.
Aye, that's the one. I did actually look at that. That's a fascinating story as well.
See, she's holding a love letter. The flowers. But even her eyes are quite... Look at her eyes.
Yeah.
They're different, isn't it? We're said to induce strokes.
Fascinating.
No kidding. Maybe there'll be post on that one.
Absolutely, that's a great idea. The third painting that I picked is called The Anguish Man. And the story of the Anguish Man starts when a man by the name of Sean Robinson was actually given a strange painting as a gift from his grandmother. Now, how the painting came into Sean's grandmother's possession is unknown, but Sean Robertson's grandmother kept the painting hidden away for over 25 years for having been evil. It's also reported that she told Sean she would see the dark figure of a man in the house at night, alongside hearing strange noises and hearing people crying. And it was upon her death that Sean actually became into the possession of the painting. Now, according to the story that Sean's grandmother told him, the old oil painting was made by an artist who killed himself shortly after he painted and completed the picture. And the artist has also allegedly mixed his own blood with the oils on the painting. Now, after being given the painting, Sean's wife insisted that the painting wasn't to come in the house, and so it went to the cellar. She wasn't comfortable with the fact the stories associated with the painting, and she wasn't amused at the artwork containing the artist's own blood. However, shortly after the painting was stored in the cellar, there was a flood, and that forced Sean to actually bring the painting into the house. However, as soon as the painting was moved into the home, Sean claims that things for the family started to get a little strange. Various members of the family started seeing the shadow of a dark figure, and they began to also hear strange noises alongside moaning and crying. The painting of the Anguish Man remains in Sean's possession and hung in his home. Sean never at the beginning believed in the supernatural, but is now convinced there is something very strange and evil about the Anguish Man.
And so the artist, they said the artist mixed his own blood.
Yeah, when he painted it, he mixed his own blood with the oils as he painted the picture. Now, that in itself is a bit creepy.
Gads.
And dark, to be fair.
I don't know, a theory maybe. I mean, that might sound like an idiot, but you know, everybody's got their own theories. As if he's mixed his own blood, was it some kind of ritual or something?
Possible.
You know, and that's why this particular painting is the way it is. Maybe he performed some kind of ritual with mixing his blood in. Maybe it was just his kind of style. Maybe he wanted to leave his mark on it.
Well, it's certainly done that.
Aye, he's done that. Good stuff. Good stuff. That's just my theory.
It's quite creepy even looking at it. I mean, the hollow eyes, the fact that the mouth's open is almost as if it's screaming at you.
It's like a tormented soul.
Yeah,
More than anything else to me.
it's not a pleasant picture at all. It's quite eerie, is the word. And you do get quite a bit of an uneasy feeling just looking at it, to be fair.
You're kind of drawn to the. I think you're drawn to the eyes here.
Because they're empty, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You want to kind of look deeper and see
Probably.
what's actually in the eyes. You know?
I was seeing that possible, probably residual energy.
Right, it's very possible,
That's
Mandy.
a good point, Mandy.
Yeah.
But you're kind of drawn to his eyes more than anything. Wow, anyway.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a mouth smelling and I'm kind of drawn to because it's almost as if he is, well, screaming. But whether that's in pain or help or who knows?
And what kind of frame of mind was the artist in when he was doing it? So as Mandy says, residual energy, could it possibly be, you know, that it's been played over the painting of the painting of the painting? That makes sense.
Yep.
Is being done over and over again by the guy who painted it,
Yeah.
who obviously had some kind of issues and what have you. Do you see they killed himself, is that right?
Aye, he committed suicide shortly after he painted it. I mean, the fact that he mixed his own blood.
So I think this kind of shows, I mean, I'm not an art critic by any means, but I think this kind of shows his frame of mind. That he was kind of tormented and maybe it is residual.
It's a good point. So we'll move on to painting 4, and that's Sarah. I found this one quite fascinating, to be fair.
How would you say the woman's name?
Laventa. Celtis.
The woman.
Laventa. Aye, that would be. Just say the woman who painted it.
So this
Yeah.
painting isn't really known in the UK. But the artist herself reports that she felt that someone was already with her, but that she drove such thoughts away. Then one day she was sitting in front of a blank canvas and was thinking of what she could draw. Suddenly she saw the contours of a woman. Her face, colours, shades, every detail of the image. She started to draw the image, and it is reported that the artist felt that someone was guiding her hand over the paper. She managed to complete the picture in 5 hours. The first person to buy the painting was a lonely businesswoman who, upon buying it, hung it on the wall of her bedroom. After 2 weeks, the artist received a phone call from the buyer of the painting, pleading with her to take the picture back, as she couldn't sleep and felt that there was someone in her apartment with her. The second buyer was a young man. Upon getting the painting home, he kept dreaming of and complained that there was a shadow of a woman walking around. He is reported to have stated that the picture was driving him mad and that he was extremely afraid of it. The third buyer was a male, and he was completely sceptical about what was happening with the painting. However, all that changed when he brought it home and hung it up. He started to see the lady in the painting everywhere and claimed to suffer intense headaches while being in the same room as it. Many believe this painting is cursed and evil, but the artist disagrees. She states that every picture is born for some particular person. For my woman, there is a person. I understand that many of you don't need this grief in your eyes. It's just an interior decoration. I'm sure there is someone who looks for it as it looks for that someone.
That last statement actually I found very creepy. Because the painting is looking for an owner and the owner is looking for that painting. That's eerie to me.
So my thought is this woman appeared. The artist claims this woman appeared to her, and so this woman, it's quite a spirit,
Spirit guide.
obviously wanted her to do this picture. So the picture was done. What about the theory that the spirit wanted the artist to keep the picture?
Well, it's a
She
possibility.
painted the picture for the actual the woman that drew it, and because it was getting passed around, this was the spirit's way of trying to
Go get back to the
get
original
back
owner.
get back to the original owner. You know,
It's-
it would, you know, whoever bought it would feel ill or whatever, so they get rid of it. So because the spirit wasn't happy
Mhm.
that somebody else owned this picture, and so this was the spirit's way of getting this person to get rid of it, in the hope that it would eventually find its way back to the person that drew it, painted it, whatever.
It's possible.
You know, that might it might be a load of twaddle what I'm saying.
No.
I don't know, but usually a painting or a drawing is intended for a person. So maybe the artist was the person that this one was intended for.
I feel that's the artist's guardian. No saying guardian angel, I'm not going to say that, but spirit guardian or just somebody that kind of watches out for her.
She does have a kind of, to me, she has a kind of matron kind of feel about her, a protective sort of.
I don't get any evil vibes. I don't get misery. I don't get upsetness. I just get quite a stern woman who possibly wants to be in control, but in that aspect, in the same aspect, by being in control, looking after the artist, basically. That's her job.
Or maybe the other people she didn't mean, the spirit didn't mean any harm to the other people, but obviously she's not happy, she's sad, you know, negative feeling coming off the paint, and this affected the people that owned it. I mean, anybody who's been in an investigation will know that sometimes you can pick up on a kind of negative energy, sad energy, and it can give you a headache, it can make you feel sick, you know, can all sorts of, you know, different kind of feelings, etc., can happen to you on investigation. So maybe that's it. She feels quite lonely to me. She has got that kind of look in her face, Kathy, isn't she? That she's lonely and just looking for a friend. You know, somebody to talk to or, you know, whatever.
Oh, it's interesting. I think what's interesting is the fact that Kathy also had put up that just looking at the painting gives her a headache. Now, actually, when I was researching this,
That was the Anguish. That
Sorry.
was that painting.
when I was researching this painting, it's reported that a lot of people get headaches and feel quite nauseated simply by looking at it as well. So,
I mean, paintings can draw you in. You know, you start. I'm not into art or anything, but I've been to London a few times to the National Gallery down there, and there's one particular painting. This thing is absolutely massive. It took years and years to paint, and it's a painting of the Houses of Parliament inside with the Prime Minister in it. I don't know what you call it, but where you see Boris Johnson and all that sitting, this is a painting, and the detail. And I went one day and I was looking, and I must have stood for I don't know how long, just looking at this one particular painting and looking at every kind of wee details all around about it. And I'm not an art fan by any means, but so paintings can be, they can kind of draw you in.
I think it's interesting that you can have a group of people who can look at a particular painting and just see different things and feel different emotions coming from them. So that's a fascinating thing for me. But we'll move on to painting number 4.
That was number 4.
That was number 4. Sorry, guys.
We're on the objects now.
Ah, right, I'm getting confused.
This one, I don't have a clue about this one, so I'm really wanting to hear about this number thing. I've never heard this in my life.
Well, this one isn't an object.
No.
as such, but it is quite fascinating. So, several individuals who have had the phone number that's on the screen have died in intense ways. The first individual to have the number was a man called Vladimir Grashnov. He died of cancer in 2001 at the age of 48. Which really isn't that unusual, to be fair.
No.
The phone number was then passed on to a Bulgarian mob boss who was shot and killed by an assassin in 2003. Then the number was passed on to a businessman called Konstantin Levies. I've probably said that wrong. Unfortunately for him, he was fatally shot outside a restaurant in 2005. After that, the number was suspended and the mobile company, Mobitel, did not provide a reason or details as to why.
I just found this one quite intriguing. I'd never heard of this at all until I came across it. I thought, I'm going to put that one up because if I'd not heard of it, and I'm quite into haunted paintings and haunted objects, it might be interesting for people to actually hear the wee story behind it. I think what's fascinating for me, or no fascinating, should I say, intriguing for me mainly, is the fact that, they just discontinued the phone number, no explanation, no nothing. And you're sort of left wondering, well, why? Why did you just do that? Why not pass it on to the next person? Did they have a small fear that this number might actually be associated with the deaths of the previous owners?
I think it's shot down for this one, but I think this is leaning more towards, it's a word I hate, but coincidence. I mean, the guy 48 died of cancer, God rest him. But then you get a mob boss.
It was assassinated.
The chances of a mob boss being assassinated, shot, whatever, are pretty high.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we've all seen The Godfather and all the rest of it. So, a mob boss, somebody's going to be out to get him. What was the third one, Sarah? How did he die?
2 wee seconds, I'll tell you. The third was a businessman who was also shot outside the restaurant.
Again, a businessman shot outside the restaurant. Did he have mafia? Did he have mob ties?
Did he owe money to somebody?
Was it set on a debt? So not happy with your pick, Laura, but I think we can debunk this one.
It's nothing to do with debunking. It's to do with the fact that it was an interesting.
It's an interesting story, but
I'd never heard of.
Just the way these people died, it's if they'd all died in the exact same way,
I
would say, right,
that's strange.
Maybe there's something to it. But as I say, a guy dying of cancer, mob boss.
Well, to be fair, Mandy never heard it either. And I've certainly not come across that before. I just thought it was a wee bit interesting. Stick it in and hear what other people had to say.
Carol, I'm trying to do something on this computer.
That's all right. We'll move on to object 2, and this is the book box. Now, apologies if I said that wrong, guys.
No, it's no. You're jumping the gun there. Yes.
So, let us know what you think about this number, folks.
Aye.
But do you think it's coincidental, or is there something to it?
Well, just on a side note, about that particular phone number. The first guy was rumored to have cancer caused by a business rival using radioactive poisoning. The
Right.
second guy, the mafia guy, was gunned down by Russian mafias who were jealous of him.
Mhm.
And the third man was apparently reported to have also been running a cocaine trafficking operation.
So were these three victims all linked in some way? Because obviously the third one, the businessman, you know, it doesn't sound like a kind of normal businessman if he was running some kind of racket. So two of them so far, Russian mafia, who, you know, who knows? If you add numbers together, they equal 666. Try to count that one.
That's strange.
They equal 666.
Oh, that's...
So,
There you
I mean,
go. There could be something to it there. There could
there
be.
could be something to it.
Who knows?
Personally, I don't think that story was particularly paranormal.
It might not have been paranormal. I just thought it was quite a fascinating wee thing to stick in. I'd not heard it. I've heard the most of these things, but that one, that perplexed me.
Thanks, Mandy Doll.
Right, on to the next one.
It's an unusual. You know, I always said my ex-mother-in-law's phone number was haunted. That's because it was ex-mother-in-law. I mean, she was spooky enough. Anyway,
So,
carry on.
the next one you've probably all heard of, because it is the one and only, the Annabelle Doll, of course. So, the doll's name comes from the alleged girl who possesses it. The story goes that in the 1970s, a young student named Donna gave the doll to Ed and Lorraine Warren. Originally, Donna had received the doll as a gift from her mother, who had purchased it at an antique shop. Over time, Donna and her roommate noticed that the doll had a tendency to move throughout their apartment or to be found in various positions. Her legs up front, uncrossed, or crossed. Donna would also find notes in the apartment reading help, and apparently came one evening to Annabelle repositioned and covered in a red substance. This is when Donna decided to contact a medium. The medium explained that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a girl who was killed in the building. Donna's friend Lou voiced concerns that there was something more to it. Sinister. Even the story goes that Annabelle attacked and killed Lou when he investigated noises while at Donna's apartment. At their wits' ends, the girls contacted the Warrens, who declared that the doll contained a demon. When an exorcism failed, the Warrens agreed to move the doll to a secure location inside a glass box in Connecticut.
And it's still there to this day.
It's still there to this day.
I've always not liked Annabelle the Doll, because I don't like the films particularly, because the doll creeps me out. It's just its eyes and its... Oh, yeah. I've just got a thing about porcelain dolls, to be honest.
So yeah, it does look quite, you know, creepy, unusual. But so the Annabelle Doll, you know, it's been I wouldn't say the star films, but it's been in The Conjuring, and it's been in the Annabelle films as well. Another theory about the Annabelle Doll was actually one of the films. It was meant to be the daughter of a farmer or something who made dolls. His daughter died, so he made this doll in hopes to bring her back, but instead he brought something evil through. Mm-hmm. Was it a demon? Was it an extra spirit? It's certainly I mean, let's face it, Hollywood have made millions with the Annabelle Doll.
Absolutely.
So I'd be a bit, I'm not saying the stories aren't true, what happened to these people, But nowadays I'd be a bit sceptical because of Hollywood, basically. You know, I know I'm a big film buff, I'm a big film fan, but Hollywood can sometimes take a genuine true story or, a legend or something and just batter it to death.
Twist it.
Now, and I twisted put
Twist
their
it,
own
yeah.
spin on it, and before you know, people are watching these films and are believing what Hollywood's filmed, so I don't know. She certainly does look the part.
Absolutely. I think the fact that as well as she was apparently moving positions kind of, it rings alarm bells to you because, I mean, there was other people in that flat. They could have done that. You don't know.
They could have moved it.
Aye, they could have moved it. They could have poured that red substance over the doll. Who knows? You weren't there. You never saw it. There's no camera evidence to back anything up.
Which again brings us back to George's comment earlier on.
Mm-hmm. It's the validation part.
The validation before you agree to any attachment with any doll. If they had a camera on this particular doll and it actually picked her up moving herself, then fair dues. That could possibly validate it. But as you say, Laura, there was more than one person in the flat. Was it done as a joke? Was it done as a publicity stunt to get attention, to make money? Let's face it, there's been many a story, paranormal story created over the years, just the sole fact that these people knew the story would sell. Take Amityville, for instance. Again, I'll probably shot down, but I still think the lectures were fake. So was it just to make money? Then Hollywood gets a hold of it and Bob's your auntie.
It's always about money though, isn't it?
What do you think, Sarah? And I know you don't like the doll, but...
No, I don't like the doll, but doing a quick research into the doll, apparently that doll that's on the screen now isn't the actual original Annabelle doll. That's the Hollywood version of the doll. The original was a Raggedy Ann doll.
All right, yeah. With a kind of long, straggly hair, almost like wool.
Aye.
Right, okay.
So I think it's been kind of... The story's been twisted for Hollywood, basically.
Aye.
Hey man, buddy, I think a lot of film try to think of the most innocent things is how it makes people's faith shudder as we're using children, but I feel that some inanimate objects that have much love can bring energy towards it. Things like a well-loved rocking chair. I totally, Martin, it's the same, it's not the same as the Annie doll and Mary King's Close when what? Are you doing that one?
Aye, please shut up.
All right, you do. We'll come to that one. We'll go Tuesday. We'll go Tuesday and that. I'll shut up. Apparently a young lad mocked in a museum touched her and he died on a motor right after leaving, hence the reason she's now protected in a glass box.
Right, okay.
Right,
Fascinating.
Again, is that coincidence or, no disrespect to the guy who died?
No, it's...
But then, if there's something in it and the guy has mocked it, then that could be kind of payback for him.
Definitely.
I forgot you were doing that.
We'll not
I'll
talk.
tell you what, I'll say.
You're fine. We'll move on to the next one.
Okay, there we go.
This is a picture of the goddess of death statue. It's also called the woman from Lem. And when people first look at this statue, they've actually no idea what they're looking at. Because there's nothing particularly You're not drawn particularly
It looks
to.
a bit. See, if I was walked in and seen that, I
I
would
know.
say that looks like a weird shaped bottle.
I have no explanation as to what that is. I have no feelings as to what it is. To me, it just looks like a weird looking rock, to be fair.
Do you know what it looks like?
Uh-huh.
See the things in the hospital that they give you like to pee into, the pee bottles? I think that's what it looks like.
It's, the artist itself really doesn't know what it is.
That's some comparison, Sarah.
So I think that's quite an interesting point of view. I mean, everybody looks at things and sees things differently, but
Aye, well, you can see
that's
that
certainly
again for that.
interesting, Sarah.
Oh,
You know?
no, it doesn't exactly replica, but it looks similar.
Aye, well, I can see that.
Doesn't it really?
It does. Give me a
I'm
minute.
not getting into that. I'm not. You can talk it up.
But this
Thing.
this was actually created 3,500 BC, and it was found in Cyprus in 1878. The statue actually belonged to many families over many generations, and each one of the families was torn apart by death. 7 members of the first family who owned it actually died within 6 years. The second owner was a guy called Ivan Mishini, and he acquired it, and it was a mere 4 years after owning the statue that Ivar and his family met their fate, and that was death. The statue then vanished for a while before a third owner took reign of the statue. Scott, can you please stop laughing? Several members of his family died. However, the 2 remaining survived. Oh, seriously? The 2 remaining survivors of the family were taking no chances and wisely donated the statue to the Royal Scottish Museum. My apologies, guys. Scott here is sniggering away at a comment.
2 comments.
One my husband made. To me, it's very 50 Shades, and one Mandy Bell commented penis enlarger. Thanks,
Well,
I'm trying to keep a straight face here.
Well, I would, I'm not disagreeing with you, Mandy. I just can't agree with you. I'll let you talk about that one. I don't know any words.
Well,
Craig's comments, 50 Shades. That's between you and Laura. Craig,
that's my husband. That's worrying.
It makes you wonder what he's watching.
It really does, doesn't it? You should be concentrating on this live, Mr. Dawson.
The secret is out now, Craig boy, what you're watching at home.
Shocking.
It's very human-like with arms and bent legs. Thank God they said bent legs.
You're getting your butt kicked when I get home.
big hips.
Aye, well, see if you look at it.
Difficult.
See the V shape there?
Where's the archive of this?
No, you don't. That's the arms, right? Across the way. And then the 2 V shape down, that's the legs. That's the legs there. With that. And that's the arm.
Possibly.
So I can kind of see that more than I can see a penis enlarger or something that the hospital gives you. Right? It does look like a burial vase from ancient times used for ashes. Aye.
Possibly.
But I'm not saying a hospital device or a thingy device either, or 50 Shades. But I think it looks like a burial vase with vase. So it's in Edinburgh anyway.
It's in the Scottish Museum in Edinburgh, and you can go and see it. And I'm no longer back for Edinburgh, and I wish I'd known that was there because I'd have went to see it. So
I bet you would.
Oh, I definitely would, and that's a plan for my next trip.
Tomorrow.
No quite. But we'll move on to the next one. is Annie's doll. And in the 1990s, renowned psychic Akio Yibo visited Royal Mary's King Close in Edinburgh, Scotland. This was actually coinciding with a film she was making about haunted places in Britain. When it came to stepping inside one particular room inside Allen's Close, the psychic could barely enter the 17th century room. She felt pain and unhappiness, and she was reported to have said she cannot enter the room as it's too strong. She believed there was a child beside her, and that child was touching her trouser leg, and she wanted to say that the child was separated from her parents and wanted to go home and see her family. The psychic was actually able to enter the room eventually, and while she was there, she subsequently communicated with a young girl near the fireplace. The little girl actually revealed to the psychic that her name was Annie and that she had lost her most treasured possession, her favourite doll, and that she was heartbroken about that. Now, upon hearing about this, the psychic actually went out onto the Royal Mile and purchased a new doll for Annie and returned it to Mary King's Close for her. The psychic reported that the doll then brought Annie some comfort, and as long as the doll remains within Mary's King Close, it said that the room will never be disturbed by her spirit again. And ever since the psychic left the first doll back in the 1990s, many thousands of people from all over the world who visit the real Mary King's Close in Edinburgh have brought Annie toys, dolls, jewellery, and to this day, they still do. And it's a fascinating thing to see. I've actually been a few times. Actually, Mary's King's Close is actually one of my favourite places to visit in Edinburgh. And going into that room, it's like stepping into another world. It's absolutely phenomenal. The amount of dolls, presents, jewelries, and gifts that are actually left for Annie.
As a Mary King's Close is a fascinating place. You consider the history it's attached to. Also, it's named after Mary King, who was a prominent market burgess back in the 17th century, and then during the times of the plague, hundreds of victims were housed there, where they were treated by doctors and what have you, and looked after. And then it was eventually shut down early 1920s, I think it was, before they finally actually shut the place.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of history to it, and as well as to the atmosphere in the place is unbelievable. As soon as you walk in, you feel like you are walking back in time. It's the same as like Greyfriars and what have you, Cyril, thingy that as well. You feel like you're stepping back in time. So again, an instant object that can be used to manipulate surroundings like it's placed to make child playing in the daylight. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But there's been numerous investigations in Mary King's Close, and there's been this little girl said to have been picked up time and time again. Gives a wee bit. Some of the people who have investigated it have got a lot of credentials behind them. They're very credible people, and they've all came back and said that they picked up on the spirit of a little girl. So I would say that one definitely carries a lot of merit. So Sarah's still there, is she?
Aye, I'm still here.
But no, that's one story that I do. But I like all the stories, but that one always kind of stands out.
Aye, that's definitely a favourite of mine. Simply because I have been. The atmosphere's absolutely incredible. The place, Mary King's Close, is incredible. So, I mean, if you get a chance, go, because it's out of this world. That's all I can say. But we'll move on to our last one, won't we? Is this the last one, Sarah?
Aye.
This one's probably the most famous one you'll have heard of, and I'm sorry if I don't say it right. I've been practicing all day to say that, and it doesn't matter how many times I say it, I'm still going to say it wrong. There's no doubt about it. But this is the book box, and in 2001, Kevin Maines, story goes that Kevin Maines was out looking for supplies for his furniture restoration business. Kevin purchased the old wine cabinet from the granddaughter of a recently deceased Holocaust survivor named Havla. Now, tragically, Havla's parents, her brothers, and her husband and daughter were all killed in Nazi-occupied Poland, but Havla survived and fled to Spain. And then she emigrated to the United States. And when she emigrated to the United States, the wine cabinet, was one of only 3 items that she actually brought with her. As the story goes, that as Kevin was paying for the box, the granddaughter commented on what he'd bought and said to Kevin that a grandmother always kept the box shut and out of reach, and there was a book inside it. The book obviously being an evil, restless spirit that possesses the living. The granddaughter said to Kevin, warned Kevin never to open the box as bad things would then occur. Kevin should have listened to that warning. After purchasing the box, Kevin took the box back to his shop where he planned to restore it and give it to his mother as a birthday present. Kevin didn't listen to the warning that the granddaughter had specified to him not to open the box, and he did open the box, and inside the box were 2 US sweet pennies, 2 locks of hair, a dried rosebud, a 4-legged candlestick, a golden wine cup, and a granite sculpture inscribed with the Hebrew word shalom. The Shema, which is a prayer which is considered to be the most important in Judaism, was carved on the back of the box. Kevin did actually give the box to his mother, Ida, and she reports that as soon as she opened the doors of the box, she felt a cool breeze and experienced something that she could only describe as pure evil. Ida then apparently had a stroke. Over the next few years, a number of unexplained occurrences happened to Kevin and those people that were around him. His sister was creeped out by the box. The doors kept opening because the doors kept opening on their own. His brother and sister-in-law could smell weird smells such as jasmine and cat urine coming from the box. And Kevin and his siblings also suffered from the same nightmare, that is of an old woman with sunken eyes. And a brother of the store employee committed suicide shortly after visiting Kevin's shop and knocking the box off the shelf. But more disturbingly, a few years later, the worker himself also took his own life. Kevin then tried to give the box to his partner, but after keeping it for a few weeks, she asked him to take it back, and this is when Kevin actually began seeing shadow things. Kevin listed the box on the selling platform eBay in 2003. He listed details on how he got it, the mysterious things that happened, not only to him but his family, and why he wanted to sell it. At the end of his description, he wrote, "Help me." Now, in 2011, a subsequent owner of Kevin's box, Jason Haxton, released a book about the box. Jason is the director of the museum in osteopathic medicine in Kirksville, Missouri, and studied American antiques and ancient artifacts for decades. And he was intrigued by the box. In the book he released, Jason gives an insight as to what happened to him after buying the box. He is reported to have bleeding eyes, random choking attacks, and most eerily of all, reoccurring dreams of an old woman. In 2012, the film The Possession was released, and both Kevin and Jason were production consultants on the film. In an Entertainment Weekly article, which was published around the same time of the movie's release, The director claims that weird things happened throughout the production. He explained he was standing underneath an unlit neon light that exploded, and 5 days after shooting ended the film, all the props from the film were destroyed mysteriously in a fire. In 2016, Jason sold the box to Zach Bagans. The same year, Zach featured both Kevin and Jason on Ghost Adventures Deadly Possessions. This episode shows Zach bringing the box to his museum in Las Vegas, and it's actually one of the museum's highlights and is classed as one of the world's most haunted objects.
Mm.
I think with this one it's quite difficult because there's so many the book boxes around, there's so many clips on YouTube showing people with apparently the book boxes, opening them, etc. So this was quite an intriguing one for me.
Aye, Post Malone bought it, did they not?
He possibly said I never really looked into it that far.
I know
I'm
I've
sure
seen a
Post
bunch
Malone
of
bought
it.
it.
One of it, Mandy makes a good point.
Yeah,
There's so many fake boxes around you can find. I've actually
absolutely.
watched a couple of lives, Mandy, involved. I'm not going to name them, but teams that claim to, do a live about opening
Mm-hmm.
the box and, they'll do a big hullabaloo about it. It's actually a fake box. Usually you can buy them on eBay.
Yeah.
So just you put that comment up, Mandy, that's what caught my eye.
I'm not disputing the fact that there is real ones. I'm sure there is, and I'm sure that what these people experience were real to them.
Martin's going to start a trend of sell goodbye boxes.
That's a good idea, Martin.
Mandy could do with one of those. You and me both with Film Possession.
A great film.
I don't think I've seen that film.
I'm pretty sure I have.
But Mandy said you can buy a lot of these boxes on eBay, so anybody can buy them and claim that it's haunted or possessed or whatever. But then the film uses things happened in the film.
But then, an unlit neon sign came crashing down, but you could put that into it wasn't attached properly, etc. And then a couple of weeks later, after production of the film had finished, there was a mysterious fire that destroyed all the props. Now, that does not mean paranormal. That's just a mysterious fire. That could be electrical.
Aye, we look at all the other
it's-
films that are said to have been cursed and, people have died on set or people that made attached to the film have died, at home or whatever. There's been loads of them, this film is cursed, this film is cursed, and that's another thing. Why is it you think, why it's all negative and why there's such a wanting to experience them? What do you think?
I think the fact that people want to experience them, it's something different, isn't it? It's something out within the norm, the unusual, something they can say that happened to them that's not happened to other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a discussion point of view, really, isn't it?
And you get these people that, for some reason, they want to experience evil.
And
They
fear.
want something negative to come through and, attach to them or, also, this is just my opinion. Martin, that these people want something bad to happen to them so they can say, like, well, this happened to me, kind of thing. I don't know, there's a lot of strange people in the world.
Aye, there really is. They just want to be different, I suppose.
I have seen a couple of films on these different boxes, again, Hollywood, whatever, and one involved a young girl who had one.
What's that many?
Oh, there's loads of them. I've watched 2 or 3. I can't remember the names of them.
Mm-hmm.
But every film tells a different story.
Well, in regard to Post Malone, he was at Zach Bagans' museum because that's where the box is, And what happened was Zach decided to take the plexiglass cover from around the box away and touch the box for the first time. And while Baggins was touching the box itself, Post Malone grabbed Zach's shoulder, which was enough to apparently transfer the curse. And in the months that followed, Post Malone experienced his private plane was forced to make an emergency landing after its tyres blew off. 3 armed robbers targeted a home in San Fernando Valley that they believed to be his, and his Rolls Royce was involved in a serious car accident.
That seems pretty more than coincidental to me. That's association by touch, isn't it?
Well, not necessarily. He might have just had a bad streak.
Bad stream of luck. Very bad stream of luck.
That's the thing, you know. He might just have a bad streak, but then that's 3 different things.
They say it always comes in threes, don't they?
You know, bad thing always happens in 3. So,
But Scott, look at the amount of normal, everyday people that don't have any connection to haunted objects or don't touch haunted objects that bad things happen to.
Aye, like your washing machine stops, there's a ring in your cooker stops, and before you can it, you put something in the microwave and it's making a strange noise. Happens every day. Yeah, well, it does to me.
Bad things happen to you
All the time.
What happened today that was bad? Was that a bad one for you?
Today's been a pretty good day today. I'll get that. Tomorrow is different.
Today ain't over yet.
Well, that's perfectly true. I've still got the game, so guys, wish me luck.
Well, Scott, look at us, right? Your work shut down. We were flooded and we lost our car and our holiday all within like 3 months each other. And we didn't touch a haunted object.
Aye, that was a good time. That was good. I mean, anything bad that could happen, happened.
Fun times for all, eh?
Man, it could have been more his mindset though, because he expected bad things to happen.
Good point to make there, Mandy. Aye, possibly you ken the story behind the box, you touch it, and then all this happens. So aye.
I could have been looking, thinking I've touched that, so he is in that kind of mindset. That is a good point, Mandy. Marcy, sorry, not that I wouldn't like to experience all things, but I would say to have like to have good food as well as a more morbid. What would you say the opposite of the? What would you say the opposite of this experience, heavenly? I would like to experience all things. Aye, but I'm saying, I think, is that he would like rather he would like the good feelings and the good experience, as well as the more morbid to kind of balance it out.
But you never hear the good experiences, do you? That's the thing.
But then, what is it as a good experience? Maybe doing an investigation and maybe a child comes through and says hello to you.
Aye.
But
to me, that would be a good experience, but to somebody else, that might be pretty terrifying. So it's an interesting one, that. Because obviously people have got different opinions and perspectives on what is a bad experience and what is a good experience.
What?
Huh.
Aye, what would you say the opposite? Right, aye, got you now. It's been a long day.
Are you telling me?
I mean, it's been a long day.
But that's pretty much it for us tonight, guys. I know it's been a wee bit different, but I would like to do different things, try out different things, and see what you think. So we'll wrap it up there, and thank you for joining us. I think we're back on.
Where are we back? Go on.
Saturday night.
No.
Sunday night. Sorry, my head's like a sip. And I couldn't tell you who's on Sunday, so you're going to have to help
Couldn't
me
you
out.
tell, could you?
You know, you're
What
gonna,
day's tomorrow?
Friday.
Friday, excellent, good stuff.
So you're going to have to help me out there.
You don't know what's on Sunday. What were we doing last night?
Oh, it's a quiz. It's a quiz. It's a PIH quiz, and it's. I'm going to get this right. It's Charlie and Rox for the haunted hunt against Andy from. Oh no, United Kingdom.
I love it when she's trying to remember stuff.
United Kingdom. Oh, Ghost Whisperers Paranormal. Is that right?
We missed some good.
Andy's wife.
Andy's wife.
I'm sorry, I don't know Andy's wife's name.
Kirsty.
Sorry, Kirsty.
Kirsty. So Sunday night we've got the quiz between Charlie and Rox of the Haunted House UK and Andy and Kirsty from Ghost United Kingdom Ghost Whisperers Paranormal. How's that?
That'll do fine.
We're out again tomorrow night. It's a double dunk tomorrow night. Monday we have for you Mandy's come back in with the Ghost Sisters, possibly a new recruit. And on Wednesday we have the author Barry Frankish coming in. He's an author investigator, so we got him coming in. And then Jackson and I are on the Thursday. We're over the moon. Some of you might have noticed the other night we had Roisin. How do you spell it? Rosine and Wonderland.
Roisin.
That girl there. She was on the other night with pink hair. Lovely lady.
Yeah.
We Charlie for the Haunted Hunts, and we are going down on the 4th of March to investigate with them the Ivy House, or what's it better known now as the Demon House. Where's the I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 in Demon House. I'll just stick to the Ivy House. So that we are off there on the 4th of March. We've got loads coming up before then, but Sunday night we get the quiz, which we're doing the questions. We're asking the questions, and Charlie, Rox, Kirsty, and Andy are going to battle it out for the title of winner.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not us that's going to lose this time, Scott.
Well, that's true. The last time, the first quiz we done, it was Andy and Kirsty were hosting it, and we got slaughtered, which is excellent for us. Charlie and Rox thrashed us, So now it's our turn to
turn the tables.
It out, and then it's Charlie and Rox's turn.
Yeah.
Have
fun.
We might get the chance to thrash Andy and Kirsty, physically. You know what I mean? So that's it for today.
That's it.
Thanks for watching, folks.
Thanks for your support and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you all later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.